Hi, Rosemary, we hear you. We'll be going live shortly, so if you can mute yourself.
My phone, that's the way I can get in, honey. I can't mute myself on my phone.
Okay, perfect. That's fine. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. We are now streaming live on Facebook and every other channel. So excited to see everyone. Today, we will be discussing section 6, but before, let's start with attendance. Judith Garcia, present. Leo Robinson.
I'm here.
Calvin Brown.
Here.
Melinda Vega Maldonado.
Here.
Todd Taylor.
I'm here.
Rosemary Carlisle is here. Jasenia Alfaro. Absent. We have Henry Wilson. Absent. Alex Barcalcel is here. Mary Burke.
Here.
Present. Okay. Jason Stalker.
Present.
Great. Charlene is actually out today and she excused herself hours before. Unfortunately, she has work. And then I have Miriam Rakentor.
Here.
Great. Thank you everyone for being on time and being here. Happy Wednesday. I will start with a quick review of purpose and process for anyone who may be home watching us. This is the City Charter Review. We meet every 2 weeks to discuss different sections of the charter. What we do is we read in advance each section of the charter, and then we meet to discuss and talk about any sort of changes that we would like to see implemented or suggestions that we would like to see implemented. So everything is taken as a suggestion. We review every single section, and at the very end, once we're done reading every single section, we will come back and see if we find consensus before presenting a formal package to the council. So that being said, let's move on for the next part of our meeting, which is any lingering questions, comments from previous sections. Does anyone here have any lingering questions, comments about any of the previous sections we discussed? I believe it would be section 5 or 3 or 4, whatever section. No lingering comments, questions, nothing? Great, so now we move to the public speaking portion. We received communications from Sarah Neville, Susan Backstrom, and Roya Avellaneda. I will start with the first one in the order of it was received. We'll start with Sarah. So all of you should have a copy of the letter. I will read it for public purposes and transparency. For the record, my name is Sarah Neville and I live at 40 Eleanor Street, Chelsea. I would like to propose the attached change for the next charter review meeting. The amendment would implement ranked choice voting, also known as RCV, in elections for city council and school committee. The text comes from East Hampton's charter, which has passed but not yet implemented RCV. Other Massachusetts towns that have RCV are Cambridge and Amherst. This November, there will be a statewide ballot question to implement RCV in state elections. But if passed, it will not affect municipal elections. If it's passed, Massachusetts will join Maine and New York in using RCV at the state level. Some key benefits of RCV are that it minimizes strategic voting by encouraging voters to choose their true favorite without settling for the lesser of two evils. In our current system, if your favorite candidate is unlikely to win, you have two bad choices. You could cast a safe vote for one of the frontrunners to avoid electing the one you like least, or cast a principled but risky vote for your favorite candidate. Promotes diverse candidates by encouraging more candidates to run for office without fear of vote splitting and stealing votes from another candidate with whom they agree. Curbs negative campaigning by rewarding candidates who reach beyond their base to find common ground with more voters. With RCV, candidates do best when they reach out positively to as many voters as possible, including those supporting their opponents. Thank you for your consideration. Best, Sarah. So she also attached for everyone's review and everyone who's watching at home, she also attached, in addition to section 2-1, the composition of eligibility, election, and term. So she added her suggestions for it, which, full transparency, I'll read. Notwithstanding any general or special law to the contrary, elections for the office of district city councilor shall be conducted using ranked choice voting as defined in section X of Article 1. So she's implementing what she talks about in the letter in here. So that's for the record for everyone to see. That was a communication received from Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, very much. We will compile this to the list of suggestions we have. So for further discussion, once we complete every single section of the charter. So now we also received a communication from Susan Backstrom. Now we'll go ahead and read this. Could the Chelsea Disability Commission be added to the charter and bylaws to codify the mandate? The best practices need to be established since I am hearing from people in the community who are disabled and need many accessibility tools. We were contacted when we launched this Chelsea ADA Resources Facebook page. The page was part of the 30th ADA Day anniversary meeting. Alex recruited me to help with virtual meetings on Zoom. He wanted me to involve the Chelsea Disability Commission. Will all commissions fulfill the state of Massachusetts requirement for 2 meetings a year? Did the COVID-19 pandemic put that requirement on hold? He did assist a resident with many disabilities to make a decision in a positive direction regarding her living situation in Keene Studios on Stockton Street near us. He stated to me earlier today that the only commission meeting was in February and 2 people who left and 2 people who have never responded to my emails or messages, even on Facebook. So quorum was not achieved during the planning meeting or the ADA celebration. Would lack of quorum necessitate a meeting in person with physical distancing in effect? Alex doesn't want to overstep his authority and his position by demanding meetings. It was just that an historic opportunity for the disabled community shouldn't be ignored. Since the Chelsea Disability Commission is without a budget and without resources, we as Chelsea residents need to generate revenue for most important work. Alex met with Francisco Toro to develop the plan for the ADA celebration activity with the veterans. The Human Rights Commission was also supposed to meet with Alex and Fidel, and that has not happened yet. I am so invested in this now. I hope this shows our involvement. I want this email read in the city council, please, and thank you. Okay, so it seems that this is more of a request for the city council, but she wanted this read, so I do want to acknowledge it. She wanted this read for our commission and see if we can add this to the charter. So it's something that we can definitely consider and see if it's even possible once Cheryl can answer any questions. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to say, because I guess I'm asking because I'm as a representative of both the Historic Commission and the CPC. Mm-hmm. Would it be possible for our little commissions to be included in the charter here, or no?
That's a great question. I think Jason asked a similar question.
Yeah, I was going to acknowledge that Jason.
So, and I actually have the answer for once we get to that portion. I'll read it. But thank you. So that's thank you, Susan, for submitting this. We will ensure to either 1, get you an answer today in the email that we have attached from Cheryl, or 2, forward this question to Cheryl and ensure we have an answer. And if it's at all possible, then we will make sure to include that as a suggestion of the charter. Last but not least, I have a communication submitted by Roy Avellaneda, who is actually present today. So if you would spare me the reading, would you like to present or speak? So just come close, give your name, address, and just read or talk.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for finding an audience. My name is Roy Avellaneda, and I live at 337 Broadway. And the amendment that I am asking is for an amendment in Section 6, in particular Section 6.4, which is to the Zoning Board of Appeal. In essence, the changes that I'm asking for is that be a paragraph added, Section B, that any special permits that are approved or by the zoning board would then have to, within 21 days, 30 days, would have to be approved by the city council. Now, we currently already do this with the Parking Commission, Parking and Traffic Commission. This is very common in other cities and towns where a zoning board decision is then ratified by, particularly like the zoning board, ratified by the city council, especially in smaller towns. The reason why I think this should be done is twofold. One, we have what I would call a weaker council than most cities and cities and towns in Massachusetts. This would help retain some more, shift some more power to the council on what direction the city goes. It's my opinion, after many years on the city council and having been on the planning board, that despite some strong advocacy at zoning boards, sometimes the decisions, despite what the public has done, gets overturned, or rather not taken into account. And to be quite honest, it's the city council, more often than not, that hears and deals with the complaints from the residents on the decisions that are made by the zoning board. And I think there were some examples where the zoning board itself can't mitigate some of the impacts that some of these projects are done. They're not the vehicle nor the board to do so. And I think that it's well within the realm of the city council as the last go-to that can try to negotiate any mitigation that any of these special permits would incur. So I'm asking that this be done, that this change be implemented, that the language be involved, or rather instituted into our charter, so that truly the city council does retain some increased power on the happenings and the goings on. We already are in charge of ordinance changes. We are in charge of zoning changes. And I think that if there's going to be any special permits, special meaning special, approved, the city council should be the one to allow that towards the end. So that's my suggestion. Thank you. And I'll take any questions if anyone has any.
Jason, I give you the floor.
So this is only for the city council to approve the issuance of a special permit. It's not if a resident felt they should have been granted a special permit and the zoning board denied them, they can't then go to the city council and ask for your approval since the zoning board denied it. Correct?
That is correct. This is only for any special permit that is approved,
Okay.
not rejected. We're not in it's not an appeal court place. It's not, they don't go up to us to appeal it, a decision. It only goes to us if they approve a special permit.
Right. Okay.
So, great. So I'll open this for, I'll open this for a conversation. What I anticipate is, and this is just anticipation, that there might be a conflict of interest, or someone might flag conflict of interest if we have the final say as a council on who gets a special permit. I wouldn't say conflict of interest. I shouldn't say conflict of interest, but what I should say is, would it seem like we're playing favoritism over one developer and not another one if we have that power as a council body? And this is just me playing devil's advocate. I am a councilwoman, so and I say it because I anticipate someone else looking outside, from the outside, saying, well, if we give the council the power to have the final say on special permits, wouldn't that put us in a sticky situation?
I would only say that there are already other communities, cities, and towns that do this, so we wouldn't be any different than many municipalities in the state of Massachusetts. It's just that for this reason, somehow it wasn't done. And I have been here, in my own opinion, seen many of my colleagues go to zoning board decisions and hear residents, and some permits are issued, yet the mitigation that I think some of these projects would be required or needed isn't being taken care of. And I'm told that because the zoning board isn't the one to argue for that type of mitigation. I think that the city council is the best body to ask for community mitigation if something is requires or not. Seeing that other communities do it, I don't think it's that different. And I have, again, we don't know who's going to be on the council in 15, 20 years, but it's not going to be I don't think it's favoritism. I can't predict favoritism on any particular developer. It'll be, one could argue there may be one particular developer so that one city councilor doesn't like. And who knows? They just said, I'm going to say no to whenever this individual comes. But that could be the same said by any board member. I mean, any zoning board member could have the same prejudices as a city councilor. But anyway, that's my reason.
Okay, Mary.
Just a clarification. Currently, process board, if, for example, a permit is approved, say for my next door neighbor, but I was against it, so I basically lost the argument at the zoning board. Is that one and done under the current structure? I have no mitigation. So, all right, so I see Roy nodding his head yes. So,
Well, actually, Mary,
Yep.
any special permit issued by a neighbor, they could file an appeal at the land court, and then you'd have to do it within 21 days so once a special permit is issued, I believe it's 21 days that any concerned party, i.e. a resident next door, a neighbor, could block it at land court. I've seen that happen. I've actually seen mansions razed. I think there was a Marblehead case where a neighbor stopped the building of a house, or actually had one torn down. So, but land court takes so long. So you would still have a neighbor could have still has power if they disagree with the town's decision to go to land court and hold it up for many years.
but we'd have to make sure that people were advised of that step and the social capital that it would take in order to implement that step. I guess my fear is, also too, if there's going to be lawyer costs, I don't want to have to engage a lawyer to be able to go to land court to fight. Now it's on me, and I'm just in disagreement. So I think, and what I'm hearing, Roy, is that you're just trying to, with this step, you're trying to put almost like a checks and balance on system on the appeal on the zoning board, and this becomes the checks and balance. And in your write-up, you also are looking for a supermajority versus a simple majority. True?
That is correct. It would be a supermajority because I think that to deny the special permit by a zoning board, I think it should be the same. It should be a Herculean effort. There's got to be a very strong objection by a council to do this. I don't want it willy-nilly. So I think having a supermajority makes sure that there's got to be a hell of a lot of objection on a project for it not to pass. So that's why it would be a supermajority.
So could I just ask for the one thing I would say on the write-up is clarification on supermajority. Is it supermajority of what present, or supermajority of the entire council?
It's got to be supermajority of the entire council. If there's only 6 members of the board present for a quorum, they would not have enough votes to take action.
Okay, got it. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you.
Perfect. So thank you, Mr. Avellaneda.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And, oh, I see Jason. Jason, you have a question. Do you still have a question, Jason?
No.
No?
Okay.
Okay.
You want?
So, okay, thank you.
Okay,
We
thank you, everybody.
appreciate it. We will consider. And now that we're done with communications, now we go to the review of section 6. For the review of section 6, I received comments from Jason. Jason, I will give you the floor to explain your comments and questions.
Sure, I'm just waiting for my computer.
Of course.
I- with the
Jason, we're losing you. It's a little spotty.
professional services and not inspection services.
Is
So
everyone
just a
else having
typo.
issues?
I'm gonna catch up.
Jason, we're having difficulty hearing you. It's very spotty. Let's see, try again.
Hello? Now?
Can you
Yes?
hear us? Can you say something?
Hear you.
Can you say something? Yeah. Try again. You can hear me, but I can't hear you. It sounds spotty. Try again. Say something.
Hello? Hello?
No?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. No. Okay, Jason?
Who's supposed to be speaking?
Yeah, I think he's having technical difficulties, so he'll be
Okay.
logging back in. But in the meantime, while he logs in, I'll go ahead and read what he submitted.
Who, is everyone
So,
on mute?
yeah, everyone's on mute. He just left
Okay.
and he's coming right back. So these things happen, unfortunately, with tech. So Jason submitted a few comments, section -2. He noted that the director listed is of inspectional services, not of inspection services. So it seems like it's more of a grammatical error that he would like to fix. Then we move on to section 6-3, part A. There is no director of community development. Should this be the director of planning and development? So this is a question, and I will address some of these questions. I just want to make sure that for full transparency, I read what he's presented.
There is a director.
Jason, are you back? No. Okay. So we move on to section -3, section B. The last sentence should state that the regulations need to also be posted via internet. So also going back to a conversation that we have all had in the past, which is let's get with the times and use the internet to communicate effectively with the public. And then at the end, he says he has general questions. And the general question is there a reason that the charter only lists the process for resident petition and time frame for effectiveness of proposal under the Traffic and Parking Commission and not also under the Licensing Commission, or really just make the process general for all commissions created via the charter or via order of the city manager? I see Jason's back. Hi, Jason.
Hi, is this better? Am I
This is
working again?
marvelous. You sound great. We're all so excited to see you and hear you. Great, Jason. So I went ahead just to read what you submitted. And I am at your general section area, your general question area. So if you could read your challenge, that'd be great. And I'll address some of these questions. No, he's gone? Okay. Jason. Okay, guys, I'll just read the challenge as Jason gets back. The challenge is, hola, Jason. No, okay. I would propose that this charter add in some existing commissions, boards that were created
Okay,
via
I
administrative
propose
order that
commission.
have an impact on the city.
No.
Jason? Okay, no luck. Okay, so I will continue. So he's requesting that I would propose that the city charter add in some existing commissions, boards that were created via administrative order that have an impact on decisions made within the city. In reviewing the list of about 16 on the city's website, I propose we add the following to the charter. They seem to have the largest in either allowing for residents to challenge ordinances or groups that help it to progress the city. Zoning Board of Appeals, Planning Board, Community Preservation Committee, and Economic Development Board. So that's what's in front of us. So he's proposing to add these to the charter based on the active participation. It seems that they have the power to challenge, the residents have the power to challenge ordinances. I wish Jason could speak on it because he could explain it better, but it seems like we're gonna have difficulties. So, Jason, if you want to call in, maybe that's easier. Okay, perfect. So he's calling in. But in the meantime, this is what he submitted, and he had questions. So for the record, I went ahead and forwarded this to Cheryl, who couldn't join us today, our city solicitor, and I asked her to please write answers in preparation for the meeting that I could read as public record. So I'll read some of these questions. So the questions you have in front of you, the questions that Jason asked, here's the answer to those questions. The Traffic and Parking Commission's orders tend to affect the entire city. Licensing only affects individual licensees. The public can participate in all public hearings. Traffic and parking orders cannot be changed by City Council, only rejected, so the public may ask for changes. The residents may also file zoning petitions under state law. All residents may challenge by attending public hearings, and ordinances are only adopted by the City Council. Rules and regulations are adopted after a public hearing, and every board will take petitions from the residents for changes to the rules and regulations. The Traffic and Parking Commission and licensing is different because in the past, the members were the elected official and corruption entailed. The Board of Health has statutory powers and will always consider a citizen's petition, and it has in the past. No need to add ZBA, Planning Board, Econ, or CPC. All of those are governed by statute. Our Economic Development Board is basically our Urban Renewal Board. So that's the public statement. Jason, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So I covered your comments, and I just read the answer from Cheryl on some of your questions. So did that answer your question?
Yeah, it does answer the question, but I do think that some of these other boards and commissions, I think instead of them always just being captured by the city manager deciding on an ordinance, I think if we incorporate them into the charter, they have the capabilities of living on with more difficulty of disbanding them, I guess.
Okay, cool. Great. So that's good feedback. Does anyone have any comments? Do you agree, disagree? Any strong feelings for or against? No? No major comments? Okay, so Jason, should I leave it as is? Do you still want to propose to keep some of these here or all of them here?
Yeah, I can go through for the next meeting, take advantage of the start of it, and maybe tick and tie this a little closer so it looks cleaner, and we can people can more visually see what the goal is of adding things in.
Perfect. Okay, great. And then everything else you submitted was more of grammatical concepts.
Correct.
Great. Okay. So that, any more discussions, comments, questions? No? Great. So that concludes section 6, unless you have something else that you want to add, Jason?
I do not.
Great. So that concludes section 6. We look forward to any other updates that you want to submit for the next meeting. And everyone, as you know, the next meeting, we will be reading section 7. We're nearing the end of the charter. So section 7, everyone read it. If anything comes up that you would like to see suggested for other sections, make sure to just submit it to Fatima and myself, and we will make sure to add it to the agenda and happy to discuss. Other than that, have a great rest of the week. Don't forget early voting, August 22nd.
It's Saturday.
Saturday.
It's Saturday. It starts on Saturday and Sunday.
Now you know it. Good luck, everyone. Have a great week.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Aye.
Bye.
All right.